I should try trading stocks. I'm not going to lose money on this trade. I'll wait till it returns to the value where I bought in. I should get a paper account to practice on. Wow, that went really well. I'm going to make another paper trade. I've got the hang of this. I'm going to try using my money in the market. What's happening? I really need to pee, but I can't leave my computer. I'm not selling at a loss. I'll wait for it to go back up before I exit the position. I'm done trading for now. Why is my timing so bad?
And we are live. Welcome to the Aussie Hexicans Unwrecked crew. We're going to just bring on the princess of Hex. She's the one and only Sammy Chica. How you going, Sammy? All right?
Good. Yeah, I'm good. How you going? All right.
Excellent. And also backstage, we have JFK. We heard he was dead, but he's actually not. He has come back. Here he is. Hey, mate, how's it going?
Hey, dude.
Good, thank you. Hey, Sammy.
How you going?
Oh, I'm good. I'm not dead. I just didn't make a meme for a week.
Yeah. taking a week off, eh?
Oh, yeah, been enjoying the Hexagades much better efforts like the Moses and the Sacrifice. You know, they were fantastic stuff. It was really good.
Wasn't that amazing? The Sacrifice one. That was hilarious. Yeah,
really great.
The game, hey? You're going to have to step up to the plate, mate.
No, I'm a rank amateur. Let those guys be the professionals.
Oh, you're too humble, mate. You set the bar before them. Now it's like this. It's healthy competition.
Oh yeah, no, they're gold. That's absolute gold medal standard. Really, it was sensational.
Yeah. So what do you reckon, guys? Could be like 5 days away until we start the sacrifice period.
I know. How exciting!
Oh, too early.
Yeah, that's what
too early. I'm trying to get my powder together.
A lot of people are saying that, like they're ready to sell. They're selling their houses and doing stuff like that, and they wanted to get in, like, after that. But now they're like, 7 days. But Richard did say last weekend that, it's going to only be like 2 weeks away. So everyone knew.
Yeah. You know what? Like, It's going to be an interesting one though, because even though there is that bonding curve, which wants you like incentivizes you to get in early because you'll get more bang for your buck, there is also the balancing act of, well, how much is Hex going to pump over this time? Like if Hexicans are all kind of, like getting all this money together and they're all going to chuck it into Hex before they sacrifice, which is going to, pump up the USD value of it. It's kind of like maybe it is better dollar cost averaging in or just waiting to see what happens if you do want to sacrifice, eh?
It's surprising, isn't it? Richard's got game theory on game theory in game theory.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Yeah.
Have you guys strategies on entering the sacrifice stage?
Yeah, but it changes every hour, Sammy.
True.
Like seriously, like the number of times that I think I've got something settled and then there's also the play of whether you just go all into staking Hex and double that. Is that going to actually be the best play? I mean, nobody knows, but that's a possibility. That could be the play too.
Yeah. I've been thinking about it heaps. Actually, we'll just say a quick hi to the chat. Thanks all you guys for joining us. It was a bit of a we haven't we've been doing them on Sunday at noon. So this late Saturday night one was a bit of a not much notice. But g'day Retrostatic, Benny Blitz. It's always great to see you. Piston Broke. I don't think I have seen you before. He says you got a nice hoodie there, Sammy. Day 43. Nice one, man. Hope you're doing well. Studying hard or taking care of your little one. Justin, g'day, mate. Yeah, so I've been thinking stacks about it, like what would be the best play, and for me, it really the simplest play I think is going to be probably the best, and the simplest play is just going to be buy Hex and hold it throughout. You could stake it, but if you're kind of like us who have been in it for a while and we've got a whole stack of stakes, it's like, I mean, I'm already kind of laddered out for 15 years, so I probably won't make any stakes beforehand. I'll probably just do a bit of a wait and see, but like, I think the major part of my bag will just be holding Hex, because the price will be going up, and then we'll have all of that copied over on the Pulse chain. And the thing is that I can see, like, Hex is the apex predator. It's the best store of value. And the Hex on the Pulse chain, I think, is even going to potentially be worth more than Hex on the ETH chain.
Really?
Well, I mean, it's going to have no fees. So people are going to be able to, it's going to open the floodgates to all of these people who will be able to make short stakes. Like if you just want
to totally agree with that.
Play around with 50 bucks.
But if you consider that, I mean, we all know because the onboarding's been really hard to get people who want to throw a couple of $100 in when you've got to pay $100 in fees. And there's no doubt that's that's the reason that Pulse is coming into existence, is to help people onboard. So if more people onboard and more people stake in Pulse Hex, won't the API be lower than the ETH Hex? So that I'm just being devil's advocate, and if that is the case, and it's more expensive to get in and out of, it could end up being the one that gives a higher return. It's possible.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be that much though. And the real value in Hex seems to be, like, obviously the interest, but that interest, the really big value of the interest plays out over such a long period of time. And in the meantime, we've just got price pump. Like, at the moment, where are we sitting? It's at 3.17. So it's like, I think it got up to like just under, or did it hit 3.5? Looks like it hit 3.5, and now it's kind of come down a bit and come back up again.
Last night we hit 3. I don't know. We got 345 because I screenshotted it. That's the highest price I saw.
Yeah, just below 3.5.
Right. So 3.45.
Just a whisker.
Yeah. So like I can see I can see it. I can see the Hex Pulse price coming quickly up to parity with the Hex ETH price. Like I think Hexicans, when they get over there, they'll just buy it up, especially if they've sacrificed and they've got this pulse and they just got this pulse. There's going to be a clamoring for the Hex Pulse, and so I think it will easily come up to parity, and that's why I think over time it might even surpass it, because you also got to think about the street vendor in Kenya. You know, they've been priced out of the market for the last couple of months, so they're all going to be sitting there, and those Kenyans and stuff, they were like, you know, doing amazing work onboarding. I don't know if you saw their video. They got some paying people to eat chilies as a way to onboard to Hex. But like,
I think fascinating if the actual price on, as you said, for Pulse goes higher, and yet the APY for ETH Hex was higher because there wasn't as many people staked.
I don't think there's going to be that much of a difference though, because the OA and the big whales have so much liquid Hex, and they are wanting they see this as an onboarding time, so they want to make it incredibly attractive for people. So if more people do start staking, I think there's just going to be more trading as well. Like when I went over to QuickSwap, like you just end up going in and out of positions. I think there's going to be shorter stakes on the Pulse Hex, and there's going to be loads more trading in and out of stuff.
Yeah, I think Benny's got a good point. Benny Bills said staking before the fork is beneficial because you'll have that stake on both and won't have to pick one or the other.
You'll save a minuscule amount of money, but you give up the flexibility. So I think that it probably is better just to hold it liquid so that you can make those decisions. Like if Hex goes to $1 by the end of the sacrifice, and all of a sudden we get all this Hex Pulse as well, like you're probably gonna want to sell a bit. You know what I mean? And it really could pump towards the end, especially if everyone's just kind of like trading in whatever coins and stuff they have to Hex because they know that it's going to diamond hands. You know what I mean? Like you're not really selling your Hex by sacrificing, so you may as well buy it first and then sacrifice. You know, so I think that Hex is still going to be the big play. And even if people do want to do a bit of degen, they want a bit of let's try this tactic or that tactic, eventually they're going to want to put it into Hex because Hex is always going to be the best value for money. So I think that that's going to be the play. That's what I would do. That's what I would recommend for most people is just hold Hex liquid for the fork. Buy it now and then hold it because it's going to go up, and then when you get the fork, you'll get a whole nother stack, and it'll probably be worth pretty similar.
Yeah, I guess you can always restake it. The duplicates on the other side.
So. Exactly. Yeah. And you can do shorter ones if you want. You can do a month if you want. You know, if you not have a nice big bag of it. And we would never do that on ETH because it's just not, the economics aren't there for it to be worth it, is it?
No.
So, but there are, you know, like there is this, it's really interesting, this sacrifice. And I've really gone back and forward about how much to sacrifice and whether it's worth sacrificing. And I think it is definitely worth a play. You know what I mean? It's probably worth a play because what I think you're going to be betting on is that Pulse gets a whole lot of users. And it's the biggest airdrop in history. He's giving it, like, people will at least go over and you know, either cash out whatever they have on the Pulse side, or they'll start trading. Probably what will happen is they'll go over there, realize how quick and easy it is, what a great user experience it is, and if that happens, like, and that kind of network effect starts kicking in over time, I can see the price of Pulse also like going up a lot, but it's more of a degen play because it's so hard to predict that kind of behavior. So I see Hex as the kind of safe play, and then the sacrifice as a bit of a YOLO.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people who'll sell any pulse they might get early. I mean, you got to say as Hexicans, what did I do as soon as I got the Uniswap? I got rid of that shit and I turned it into Hex.
Same here. I wish I had a help. Have you seen the price of that?
That's like $40 or something, hey?
Yeah,
It hasn't pumped.
It's over $50.
Yeah, but it hasn't pumped since it pumped because version 3 was coming out and everyone thought, oh, version 3 is going to be amazing and the price of it's going to pump. But it hasn't really, like, it dipped just before and it hasn't really pumped after that. So
but the point is that when you get those airdrops, you turn them into things that you like.
Yeah,
exactly.
So I think there'll be a bit of that.
Oh, for sure. There'll be loads of that all over the place.
It's nice to keep a little bit on the side. Like even uni got to $10 Australian. Like that's still, nice little bit of free money there as well. Like I turned most of mine into Hex, but kept a little bit. And
I
burned a lot. I burned it and staked it and
I chucked it all and staked it long. I just went. I think I did a 15, a 10, and a 5. I just did 3 and just chucked it out. And I know that it's no matter, even if uni is $40 now, there's I'll have no idea what the future will be, but I'm pretty sure that will be a better play to wait for it and earn all that interest plus all the price appreciation.
Yeah.
So I think that could be, so obviously the sacrificing and getting some, of this pulse is going to be a bit of a YOLO play. And it could, but I wouldn't recommend chucking all my Hex in because Hex is always going to, in the end, even if you do have like all this pulse, I think because if pulse is successful, Hex pulse is going to be even more successful. You know what I mean? And the thing is that you can earn mad interest if you're staking it long. So the value proposition is always going to be with Hex.
Yeah. But I think Pulse will do well. It's Richard Hart's creation and I'm banking on it to do really well. And I think we're going to have to use it anyway, like to end stake and restake. We're going to have to use it, so we're going to have to keep a bag of it anyway. So you might as well have a shitload of it laying around, and you could dedicate it to the validators and earn interest on that. And there's no time lock.
Yeah, I don't know how much that will be worth it though. Like we'll have to see all the details and everything like that. But when we're sacrificing, we won't know a lot of that stuff. No. Like this is truly a sacrifice. Like we don't know about the details of and he's going to have to build it during that sacrifice period. So he's going to be making decisions during that sacrifice period. So it really is a true sacrifice. And I think that's how you should look at it, that it's a political statement, that you're betting on Richard Hart because you've seen him do amazing things and you just put your faith and your trust in him. I think there's a lot of that in it.
Yep. There's a lot of faith, and it's a leap of faith with Richard. And it is a political statement because it's a big fuck you to Vitalik,
I think that's the wrong attitude to take, though. It's the wrong attitude. We're going to enter a multi-chain world. There's going to be plenty of chains, and they're all going to be. It's competition. We're providing Ethereum with good competition. Like they're going to have to pull up their socks. I mean, already it's happening with Matic, and like you see other chains doing similar things. Like it's about the user experience. That's how you attract users.
Sure. I mean, that's what I mean about him and the fees. He's pandering to the miners. He's not moving forward as quickly as possible on the proof of stake, and he's hedging his bets. He's probably got the wrong sort of people advising him.
I think my point is we don't need to turn it into rivalry though. Like all this tribalist stuff is just.
What do you think competition is, Bluey? You're singing praises of competition.
No, but there's healthy competition to inspire each other to greater and greater things. And in the end, we're all in the same camp. We're all in the crypto camp. We're all wanting everybody to be onboarded. And if you're going to onboard the world, we're going to need more chains than this.
And you're not going to need $100 fees for a transaction.
Yeah, totally. But you're going to need way more. You're going to need way more chains. Like these chains get filled up pretty quickly to the point where it's difficult. And like there are all sorts of solutions. Other chains which have like different consensus mechanisms where a lot more people can use the layer 1, but then also all of this layer 2 stuff and how that's implemented. But even all of that stuff is not going to be anywhere near enough. We're going to see way more chains. I think this is only just starting in terms of all of that stuff. Like people are going to have to start even more chains if the whole world is coming on board the crypto train.
It's a good option though, with Pulse coming out. People paying these huge Ethereum gas fees, it's a really good option for these other people to move across the Pulse chain. It's a good opportunity because you're going to get more bang for your buck,
Yeah,
sure. We can start onboarding again. We can start onboarding again. You can't do that when the fees are the way they are. I just had to stop trying. There's people who've been searching me out, and I've explained what the short-term future is going to be with fees on the Pulse chain, and that's really when the game begins again for onboarding.
Yeah, totally, yeah. But like, I think we can take the attitude of like we're helping out Ethereum, and like we're going to make it less congested for you guys, And Ethereum can do their things. They can do their, 1550 EIP 1559, and they can try to get moved to, ETH 2.0. And I can see the miners not going along with ETH 2.0 and just keeping their legacy chain going as well. So there's all sorts of dramas that they're going to happen in the future on that as well. But I think that I think it's time we just all took the attitude of now we're all in this together. We're all into crypto, Like we are the minority.
Is Vitalik really into crypto adoption when he's benefiting the miners by ramping up the fees to the extent that he has?
Look, he's a young kid. He's 27 years old. He's got highly specialized knowledge in one very small area of life. He hasn't lived, and he's lived a very weird life. Like he would have become very, very rich at a very young age, So he's never run a business, Is
any of that a counterance to my charge against him that he's not helping crypto? He's looking after the miners. These are errors in judgment, and for whatever reason, there's still errors in judgment.
Well, no, his intention is to move to staking. So he is not helping the miners. He is trying to develop technology that's going to f over the miners.
Yeah, is he going to do that though? It seems like he's moving towards looking after the miners with the fee rises.
If you've ever read any of the Ethereum developers in their chats and stuff like that, they call it herding cats, and it really is. You know what I mean? It's a whole lot of people who are really, really smart in a very niche area, and people from all sorts of different backgrounds, whether that be political or whatever it is, and it. I know that you can look at it from the outside and it looks like people are kind of colluding to be against you by, charging such high fees. But I think these are things that just emerge. And greed is definitely that's why Hex works. Hex works because it harnesses greed, and it basically harnesses greed, and it does it in a way that it allows us to be healthily greedy. it's our greed that makes us stake long.
Yeah. I mean, it's greed, but I suppose in a way, like, yeah, greed gets you in trouble. And if you we're in crypto in 2017 and you might have been greedy.
Yeah, but we're all after it. Look, anyone, if we're going to be honest with ourselves, everyone in crypto, like, I mean, a lot of people that have a political bent to it, but at a personal level, we're all trying to make money.
That's right.
Let's be honest about it. And those miners are all individuals as well. And those miners are all acting within their individual best interests to try to do what they're trying to do.
But the difference with HEX is that you have to honour the terms that you've set, or the truth engine penalises you.
Yeah.
That's the difference. So I often say to people that I'm onboarding, the hardest decision in HEX is to decide how long you're going to stake for, because it's the greed versus the reality of you having to stick to the terms which you've defined.
Oh, look, HEX solved such a major problem in that it harnesses greed for the greater good. Like, it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant for that reason alone. Like, it has all the right gameplay and all the right incentives in place so that we can be incredibly greedy, and it's actually for the greater good, because staking long makes you earn a lot of money, but it also holds up the price for everybody as well.
Yeah. And my point about the miners with Vitalik is he absolutely needs them until he gets 2.0 going, and he's going to have a political balancing act about how you introduce 2.0 but still look after the miners. And I think that what happened is that he's butted up against that reality, and he's gone for the knee-jerk reaction. Just look after the miners, look after the miners. And he isn't doing – if you think the miners are only just a part of that, of the ecosystem, the rest of the system's being hurt by those decisions that have been made through whatever process or whatever his life's been. Yeah.
Hey,
but they're paying for it now because all these competitors are popping up.
Yeah, but hey, JFK, money's probably nothing to him. He doesn't probably even realise he's got that much money. He's that young. Why would he even care?
Yeah,
same way we do. We all want an extra zero after our balance. I don't think that's going to change for him either, really.
No, he's living the high life, whatever. I mean, I wonder what he even does with his time. Like,
oh my God. What sort of nerdy things would be Vitalik's sense of fun?
Oh, he's just
Rubik's Cube.
He's a weird dude, He's weird looking and he's super smart, but he's a weird character.
Potential alien, reptilian.
Come on, guys. He's up. He's a kid. He's not even 28. He's just a kid who was really, really smart and got really, really rich really, really quickly. And, he's got to learn. He probably hasn't had hard knocks, which is how you get humility, which is how you get empathy for other, people and stuff like that. He's just think of what were you doing? What were you guys doing when you were 27 years old? Oh, you know what I was doing? I was a tram conductor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was a connie. It's probably the best job I've ever had. It was brilliant.
Oh, I was working hard, probably even 2 jobs at the time.
There you go.
Yeah, I was working hard, going out drinking more days of the week than less, dancing around, running amok and trying to shove my hands up girls' dresses. That's what I was doing when I was 27.
And just think about what your reality was when you were 27.
Well, it's nowhere near Vitalik, so I can tell you that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just so different to that learning you go through in your 30s and 40s is just
he's like the Michael Jackson of crypto. He's living an isolated existence He's probably got a chimp in his bed. I don't know.
He's got what in his bed?
A chimp in his bed. Like Michael, he's like the Michael Jackson of crypto. He's got a different, protected, sort of in a bubble type existence.
No, he's got his own life lessons that he's got to deal with, and it's interesting also becoming like after Hex has been. One thing I've been noticing it is because I'm so used to not spending very much money, and now that all of a sudden I've got this kind of wealth accumulating, it's really kind of difficult to spend the money. It's like I don't know how much of it to spend, and I don't know what to spend it. Like there are
Just
things
save
like
it.
Pardon?
Save it, Blue Bum. Don't just buy things for no reason.
Yeah, but then that mentality of just saving more and more. Like I think Richard Hart's fallen into that a little bit. Like where he's just like he's also a billionaire, and it's like I think he doesn't want to let go of a lot of his coins. I think that's kind of like
Yeah, but I think why like spend money? Like I can understand spending money on things you need, and then there's things that you really want, like Richard's watch. You really love that, nice $100,000 watch, and if you got the money, that's cool. Spend it. Like maybe for us, it'd be like the nice car, or the nice handbag for us girls. But really, I mean, it's good to have nice things all the time, but if you don't like it, why buy things for no reason? You just accumulate stuff and have to store it anyway. So
exactly, yeah, totally.
So just keep it.
Right, you can't have everything. Where would you put it?
That's right. Well, it's true. I know in my house, having kids running around and all their stuff, there's just no room for anything anymore. I only buy what I have.
Buy a bigger house, Sammy.
That's on the horizon. That's on the horizon.
You can get more stuff in a bigger house.
Or
buy an island. There's a really nice couple of islands in the Bahamas for about 26 million, probably US.
I've been really trying to get Overwatch on the program. I'm still working on him, and he has literally like been looking at islands to buy.
Wow.
And like he's telling me how you go about doing it and everything like that. Like I can't wait to get him on at some point. We'll get him on at some point. It's like a very interesting perspective. Yeah.
That's really cool. I've seen a lot of Hexicans doing really well. And it's amazing, changing so many people's lives. And even I was talking to a couple of guys in the hex.com chat last night, and they were really cool. And they were saying, how much they love the community and how, there's just so much going on all the time. And it's true. It's really unique compared to any other crypto and any other crypto community.
So, guys, I've got another potential YOLO play. And it just kind of occurred to me, and I had a quick chat to Jexa and OG43 in the chat to see if it kind of like if it would work or not. And I don't know if it will work. But and I was trying to think, should I tell people? And I thought, but I'm terrible at keeping, like, so I'm just going to like say it, and because I want to hear what you guys like think of it as well. WETH, right? WETH, like wrapped Ethereum. If you have like, obviously it's not going to be worth holding Ethereum before it comes over, but if you hold wrapped Ethereum, you'll get a copy of that on the Pulse side. That will be Pulse wrapped Ethereum. Now the thing is, I don't know exactly how the bridges work, but from what I understand, the way the bridges work is, what I've been saying is it's not really a bridge, it's more like a post office. And you have post offices on either chain. Like you have a post office on the Ethereum chain, and you have a post office on the Pulse chain. Now on the Ethereum side, if you want to trade Ethereum versus Pulse, what you have to do is you have to wrap the Pulse, just like you would do wrap Bitcoin or whatever, and you have to wrap the Pulse and bring it over to the Ethereum as wrapped Pulse. And then Ethereum can trade against wrapped Pulse on the Ethereum side. By the same token, on the Pulse side, if you want to trade Pulse against Ethereum, you're going to need the Pulse and you're going to need wrapped Ethereum. So that wrapped Ethereum, if you turn that your Ethereum into wrapped Ethereum before the fork, you'll get Pulse wrapped Ethereum. So I think that could be like the liquidity side. I think that could be the main trading pair on the Pulse chain between Ethereum and Pulse. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Because you've like the Ethereum is only going to get you a very minute amount of Pulse, but the wrapped Ethereum you're going to have on the other side, and because everyone has all of this Pulse, that's going to attract a massive amount of Pulse, like a massive amount of Pulse to trade against the wrapped Ethereum. And not only that, if you do end up with that, you can be one of those liquidity providers, because there's going to be loads of Pulse Ethereum going back and forth and being traded. So that's my alpha to the 13 people who are watching. Maybe don't tell anyone else. We'll see if that one works out. It will definitely also, we'll need to know, for that to work, we'll need to know the exact mechanics of the bridge. So I'll, like, obviously, like, it's going to be a couple of months. Like, you'll have the sacrifice period, but it's still not going to be a couple of months until the fork actually happens. So, and before the fork happens, we'll get more details about all of that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's what, like, I was thinking about keeping the information to myself, but then I thought, you know what, I just like to tell people. And like,
question for you on that though, isn't that an assumption that the Pulse wrapped Ethereum is going to be interchangeable with the wrapped Ethereum through a bridge? And I'm not sure that would be the case. I mean, we don't know.
If you have Ethereum, you'll need to bring it over to Pulse as wrapped Ethereum.
Correct. But it won't be wrapped. It won't be Pulse wrapped Ethereum. It'll be a different animal. Very similar name.
Maybe that's right. Maybe that's right.
So
but
I think I don't know if they will be fungible or interchangeable. But it's not impossible, I guess. Depends how it's set up.
Yeah, look, I could be wrong with that, and so people don't take that as advice. I could be totally wrong with that, and I was just thinking that if Pulse Chain, like, I'm not sure if there will be fiat on ramps to Pulse Chain, and if there's not fiat on ramps, we're going to need to bridge back over to Ethereum in order to get back to fiat, and so the bridges are going to be really important, and Richard has kind of said he wants a trustless bridges. Like, I know that with Matic, it wasn't a completely trustless bridge. There was a person who was moving stuff back. And so, but I think the way they do it is that they hold a whole lot of the other coin, and then they take in the wrap stuff. And we need a whiteboard, and we also need some techie people to kind of like to back us up on this. But hey, Wales Only's just come in. G'day, mate. How's it going?
Hey.
Yeah.
So have you guys got any other coins you're going to be looking to sacrifice? I mean, given, like, for us Aussies here, it's a taxable event to swap anything for the sacrifice. So have you got any other?
Actually, it's a loss. This is the other thing you don't understand. Because you're sacrificing and you don't know the value, you're actually just it is a taxable event, but it's in the good way. So that if you have a bit of a tax bill and you could actually sacrifice and, like, take that as a loss. So that comes off of your tax. So people should also talk to their kind of accountants and tax professionals or whatever about that, because I'm pretty sure that it's a capital loss. And if you are going to be paying taxes, this could be a bit of a freebie. Like, get the government to pay for your sacrifice.
Yeah. So, yeah, have you got any other coins you're looking to sacrifice apart from Hex or ETH?
Yeah, back in before I knew about Hex, I became a have you heard of Avalanche?
No.
Avalanche is another crypto, a crypto. It has a completely different consensus mechanism to Ethereum, but it's made by this very, very smart guy. And I basically the way they launched was they got 1,000 people to become validators. And so what we had to do is we had to spend a week like basically learning how to set up an Ethereum virtual machine not Ethereum virtual machine, a virtual machine on Ubuntu, and like we had to install Go, and we had to do all this stuff for a week, and we got paid in these tokens, but they were vested for a year, and they come out in August. So, and at the time they weren't worth very much, but over that period where I haven't been able to touch them, they've become worth quite a bit. And so, if I'm not sure when, if I don't think I'll be able to get my hands on. It depends when he launches the sacrifice period, but I'll
4 days, 6 days.
Yeah, if that's the case, then I don't get them until August, so I probably won't be able to touch them, which may be a good thing because I really like that project. The more I kind of look into it and stuff, so
but you got 30 days. I mean, I know that it's not within that 30-day period, but for anything else, the sacrifice stage will go for 30 days. So even if you like put a big chunk at the start of what you want to sacrifice, then dollar cost average in for those 30 days.
Yeah, I still got to wait 2.5 months though for them.
Yeah,
actually a bit more than a bit. Actually, more like 3 months because I've still got June, July. Oh no, 2 and a bit months. Yeah. So
once you do get them, you can still dollar cost average into Pulse if you wanted to, because it'll probably still be cheap. I mean, who knows what it's going to do? It might go like, see you later.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah. I've just got myself another job though, and that I might be able to get a bit of cash from that to chuck in.
Awesome. Congratulations, Mr. Blue Bum. That's really good news.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. I won't talk about it too much. But yeah. No, that's so I might have a bit more to put in. I really want to keep most of my Hex. Like I'll definitely put in something in the sacrifice, but I've just been kind of like I have no idea how much. And I've been going back and forth on it a lot, and obviously because our Hex has gone up so much in value, I do have a bit of money to play with. But because I think that Hex is still the best kind of short, mid, and long-term play, it's very hard to sacrifice it.
It's like insomnia-inducing, isn't it? I mean, the game theories within game theories upon game theories.
Yes, totally
game theories is
like
just sleep depriving. And at the start of the day and the end of the day, you think you finally got it nailed down, and then you wake up tomorrow and it's different again. You know, in your head, it's crazy. It's crazy, the options.
Dude, it was so funny, man. Like, before crypto, I'd never been in debt. Before Hex, I'd never been in debt. And just before the big payday, I was just like, fuck it. And I just maxed out my credit card. And it was the first time that I went into debt. And I'm still paying that off, because it's just not worth paying it all off. And like, I may as well just keep it in Hex, and that keeps increasing in value so I get into Hex and I go into debt. And also I didn't have a job beforehand, and I've got other ways of things that I've been, I've kind of got going and stuff like that. But like, and then I got offered a job just the other day, and it was like a too good to refuse job. So Yeah.
I'm
It's
thinking of some rude comments, but I'm not going to say them.
so it's like funny, man. I'm like, yeah. I mean, this was a too good to. The reason I'm doing the job isn't just for the money. It's because I'm getting to onboard people. Basically, I'm getting paid to onboard people. So,
Well, beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, we know you're very good at that, Bluey. So I'm sure
man. So consultant.
You'll be excellent, Bluey. You do that much. You put that much time and effort into it. You'll do really well.
Yeah, well, I really love it, hey, and it's like this is how I've always led my life. I've never chased after money, and I've just done things that I'm really interested in and chased after experiences, and it's always led to stuff, and I've never had a lot of money, but now I get to experience that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting change of the mindset, isn't it? With all this price pump and where we're heading and what everyone's talking about. Like it's actually, well, it's a bit of a head fuck in a really good way, but it's a bit of a head fuck.
It's interesting, hey? Yeah. How's it been for you, JFK?
Oh, really a bit unsettling. Like I said, it's a really nice problem to have. And I sort of know what I want to do, but it's, every time that there's a pump, it becomes less of a dream and more of a reality. And it's exciting and it's moving very fast.
Have you been thinking about quitting your job?
Well, I think I've said this before on the stream, and this was my play prior to the Pulse launch, was that I've got stakes out from Christmas, not this year. Next year is the first one that comes out. I'm not emergency end staking ever on anything. And so I was basically locked in, and I thought, gee, it's going to be a really long year and a half still going to work until I start to realise my HEX gains. And then I came to the realisation that HEX can be used for the short term, and that I consider that I've got enough in the long term. I mean, you can never have enough, but enough to do all that I want to. And so I started staking out for 370 days to buy my freedom from work faster.
Nice, okay, good idea.
And so I was doing that and happily, set in my ways and tinkering along. And like I said, then the explosion of options with the Pulse chain launch and all the stuff that comes out from there has thrown a spanner into my calm state of planning. And, there might be ways to get out of it even quicker. And that is the motivation. It's a realization that my time's actually more important now. And what I can buy is my freedom from being just over broke or in a job to being financially independent sooner by short staking. And that was a liberating thing, but I really didn't get a chance to settle into that plan for any length of time because of all the Pulse stuff. And so now, for the first time, I've always just bought HEX and staked it. That's been my MO, but it's not the case now because of Pulse and whatever else. And I've bought a couple of dips. That's been good. But yeah, and the other thing that strikes me is, you scrimp and you save to get the liquid HEX, and you're struggling to get, let's just call it X amount of HEX. And then you look on your staker app, and what's taken you like weeks to accumulate, you're getting every couple of days. And it reinforces how much economic energy is being thrown into your account through T-shares every day. And it actually puts that into a mind-blowing perspective. All that sort of stuff's flying around in my head, Bluey, and I guess that's part of the realization of the gift of HEX and being in on it, and how fantastically generous it can be if you're in.
And what about you, Sammy? How's it kind of playing with your head?
I'm really enjoying it. Like, excuse me, the other night, I think it was last night. Well, there's been like 2 nights where it's just been pumping off its face, and just like you sit there refreshing your Sacred app, going, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, but I'm really loving it. Like, I'm staked right out. Like, even like you, JFK, my liquid that I had, like just in case it went up, I restaked for like 12 months. Thought, why not? And yeah, that's going to contribute to my retirement one day too. But yeah, I'm just enjoying, watching all the other hexagons just go nuts and earn, really big money. And also for myself, I'm really happy that my hex is doing fantastic. And I'm just really excited for the Pulse. I'm excited for all, we're getting a mirrored copy on ETH with the copy on Pulse, and then all the ERC20s that we'll get. And also the possibility of becoming quite big on Pulse, because I think Pulse is going to be really, really good. And the fact that we're getting in early is just another opportunity for us. So if we think we're making mad gains now, I think we're going to really, really be like super excited and shocked with the next step.
And has your mind raced forward to like, okay, let's say you're a multi-millionaire, or like, you've got tens of millions or 20s of millions or 30 million or 40 million, whatever it is worth of fiat potentially. Like, have you thought about what you'll do with that money?
Yeah, a little bit. Like, I think for me, I'd probably like buy a house up north, Bluey, because down here is so cold. So probably buy a house up north, live like up there during our winter, live down here in summer. Because I love I've got a large family and friend circle, and I'd love to still catch up with them. But yeah, lots of travel, I think, and yeah, just enjoy my life, and also give some money to friends and family. That's about it. I mean, at the moment, yeah, money's not a great big like thing, but I suppose when you're busy working like we do, and that's all we do, you don't have a lot of time to think. It's sort of like beyond your imagination. Like, I just can't even imagine wealth at the moment. It's just like, well, you do what you got to do and buy what you need, and that's it. And at the moment there's no holidays, there's nothing because of coronavirus, so it's just basically straight down the road. But yeah, if Hex pumps and it goes nuts, I'll be taking full advantage of it and going crazy.
You know what I've been, because I go on all sorts of little fantasies of what I would do. Lately, I've been actually, in Wales. You're actually responsible for this a bit, because I was watching that Hex Asian stream where you guys were all like talking about all those cars, and then there was a tweet where you were showing some of your cars, man, and I was just like, I want a car. So I've been thinking about all the cars, because I don't own a car at the moment, and I'm just driving my girlfriend's Subaru station wagon, and and I've never really even needed a car or wanted one really, but like all of a sudden I'm like, oh, what kind of car would I get? You know what I mean? And like I was checking out all these, like I saw this little red MG, and there's all sorts of interesting little like cars around Cairns. But I'll tell you what, let me just see if I'll bring it up, and let me just see if I can find what I think would be amazing. Not a car, but there's this thing called the Sapphire Project, and what they have done. Oh, where is it? Here we go. What they've. This is kind of crazy, but like, it's pretty amazing what they've done.
Sammy just wants to know if it's got a V8 in it.
Nah, it's like they've basically replicated a sun within a laboratory, an electric, and yeah, I'm just going to put it in, and people can have a look at it. But there's a theory about the universe called the electric universe, and it's basically that the sun is not a nuclear reactor like we think it is. It's actually an electrical phenomena, and there are Birkeland currents like moving all throughout that connect planets together and move throughout the universe. And these guys have actually set up an experiment that proved, like, because they actually, and what they actually have managed to do is transmutation, which basically means creating something out of nothing. So,
hey Sammy, Bluey's going to get a hippie-powered car.
Dude, this is check this out, man. This is full fucking science. And the guy who kind of came up with the idea for the experiment was an Australian guy. But these people, Warren Thornhill. But these guys have actually done that experiment and have replicated it, and they've managed to replicate a miniature version of the sun. And what they have noticed is that new elements are being created, and they're doing all sorts of. How do I get back to? Where are you guys? I can't find you guys now. God, hang on. I can't find. Here it is. So I'm going to put it in chat, guys. And actually, what I'll do is I'll share the screen, and we can just have a little look at it. Actually, no, look, it's too much to look at. But like, check that out. Check that out. What they've done is just incredible, and they're using it for energy generation, but also to clean up nuclear waste. And but there are so many other things that could come out of it. And of course, no one's really throwing money at it. It's an amazing technology, which is at the start of it. And like, I want to go and meet up with Warren Thornhill, the guy who came up with the idea for this experiment, and he's writing a book at the moment, which is kind of the Electric Universe, like the definitive book on it all, kind of thing. And I've seen lots of interviews with him and stuff like that. I want to like just go up to him and say, right, Warren, let's build this in Australia. I want to get like free cheap energy to all Australians, and like what can we do? And because imagine free cheap energy for the world. You know what I mean? Like, start off in Australia and then extend it out. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Like there's so many technologies which are not exploited because everyone, everything's, being tied up in these political, oil games. And this is clean energy, and it's like, I won't go on too much about it, but there is, just like Hex, right, has attracted so much hate and so many people saying, no, it's too good to be true and it's a scam and all that. That same phenomena is in many different parts of the world, and in terms of many different things. Like, the answers to a lot of our problems and the solutions to a lot of our problems is out there in the world. And I think that as cryptocurrency takes over and the central banks start losing their power, see, I've always thought it's not going to be an overtaking of the political system, because if you overtake, then the people who overtake they're the same people who just want to be in power. They're going to have to be, that old system is going to have to become irrelevant, and it becomes irrelevant first because their money becomes useless, and they're doing it by just inflating their money away. And so cryptocurrencies and the people who are into cryptocurrencies, we're the people who are going to have to drive innovation and are going to have to drive the economic energy towards things in the world that provides, solutions to a lot of our problems.
Well, we'll have the economic energy to further those investigations or those developments in technology.
Yeah. And, hopefully a lot of these politicians, like the Australian politicians, I don't want to go on about it, but there's an Australian, did you see that Australian general has just come out and like, Australia's going to make a war against China?
Yeah.
I'm just like, what are you, an idiot? Like, they're just mental. They're just so devoid of reality, you know what I mean? Like, Australia's going to make a war against China. What are you? It's just
Oh, no.
nuts, you know what I mean? Like, politicians are just like, and I think a lot of Australians have probably realised that, but I think it's becoming like much clearer now. Like, what seriously, like, mentally numpty people they are. You know what I mean? Like,
I think we all know that, Bluey. That's why.
Yeah. And, you know, like, I used to love that about Australia. Like, back in the 70s, everyone gave politicians so much shit, hey? But all of a sudden, like, you know, now it's kind of like we start defending them a bit. And it's like, nah, bugger it. Like, you guys are idiots. You're just out there to try to be popular. And you've tried to be popular at high school, and you've gone into university trying to be popular, and you've been spat out into the political system trying to be popular. And they're all just desperately insecure.
Yeah.
And like,
I think that's pretty true of our current Prime Minister. There was 300 signatures when he they had like the high school get together reunion, and 300 of them signed. They didn't want Scott Morrison to attend. So I think that's possibly where a lot of these things stem from. I think you're onto something.
You know, I went to school with Josh, with Josh Frydenberg.
No, okay.
Yeah.
The tennis player, he would have been then.
Pardon?
He was a tennis player, wasn't he? Professional tennis player. Yeah.
He wasn't professional. He was right into tennis.
Oh, he was for a short while.
Hey guys, just before you go on, moving back to the subject on cars. Did you see the Hexagon Lamborghini with the Hexagon plates on Twitter?
I did.
Just
today.
Cool.
Yeah, Lambo.
I could see you in a Lambo with the same colours as your hoodie, Sammy. I could see
I reckon I would probably buy one if I had that much money. But would we have to import it and then change it to a right-hand drive? Like
no.
Some of the other cars?
They sell them here as right-hand drive.
You know, since I've been wanting a car, I've been driving around Cairns or whatever, just like I've been looking at so many cars because, you know, and I'm just like, so many cars are just dog shit ugly. Like, most cars are just like, just like horrible, you know? And then
if you wanted to look beautiful, go on a motorcycle, mate. That's the way.
You know, Ferrari. If you want to buy a Ferrari,
I don't trust myself on a motor. I mean, I've been all throughout Asia on mopeds and stuff, and I've come off them and stuff like that. And I just know I get way too confident, way too quickly, and like, you got to be super.
You got to be really careful on a motorbike.
And I saw a guy on the Cairns highway the other day, and he was driving in the bicycle lane on a little moped. And it was just like, I can understand why you wouldn't want to be going on the main road, because like, people are just not going to see, you know. And everyone in Cairns, like, all the blokes drive these massive trucks, these full on 4-wheel drive. You know what I mean? And like, and all I lived in
Cairns for 12 years, Bluey, and I was a motorcyclist for all of those. Ooh. I know exactly what you're talking about with Cairns drivers.
Yeah,
like, especially they just don't know how to use a roundabout. A multi-lane roundabout is just beyond their capacity. They just can't function.
You know where I love driving though? I love driving in Asian countries like India. Like, everyone's like shit scared of like driving in India or in Bali or whatever on their mopeds and stuff, because it's all just, especially in India, it's just like you're in an ant colony, you know. It's just like it goes all over the place, and people on the wrong side of the roads and everything like that. What I found was everyone's really polite. Like, everyone just gives, like, the honking is just kind of polite honking. It's like, oh, I'm just over here, mate. I'm just behind you. Just coming in now. And like,
that and the speeds, you're not going the same speeds either. That's the other big thing.
And the law is just who's bigger. Like, if you're bigger, you get to go. Like, if you're a bus coming down the wrong way down a street, and you're like a little moped going the right way down the street, you get off to the side. Like, it's just really kind of simple rules, and like. And you can just kind of go in and out and do whatever you like, but it feels way safer. Like, people in Australia are just aggro as all fuck, man. Like,
in Australia, if you've got bigger wheels, get the fuck out of my way.
Yeah.
That's the sort of real.
Like, Melbourne especially, right? If you do something in Melbourne which is a little bit out of the rules, people get so angry at it. You know what I mean? And the honking's just like, like just.
So Bluey, what are your top 3 dream cars now?
Well, I don't like. I thought it was going to be something like a really just beautiful night, like 19, like an MG, or a little red MG, or like or a Corvette, or like one of those old late 1960s or early 1970s sports cars. I really like
mechanic
stuff like that. Pardon?
Yeah,
I know.
Mechanic.
And then I saw Wales Only posting all these like pictures of like these beautiful like old style cars, but really really modern, and then when in the Hex Agent stream, when Middle Class was showing all of their like an 80 grand car or whatever like that, and some of them just look beautiful, and I was thinking that could be a better thing, but like an 80 grand car, the Hex is going to have to pump a lot more for me to kind of afford that, probably. To have liquid, like a lot of mine's still paper money. It's like stakes out into the future.
Yeah, same here, bro.
Yeah, but I really do love those kind of like those old, even 70s cars and 80s cars. I like the style of them. I like the look of them. You know what I mean? Like my dad used to have a BMW 2002. It was Kermit Green, and I used to he had it when I had my license, and so like when I just got my license or just soon after, and so like my first car was a Mazda 1300. Just a little shit box that the neighbor sold me, and I loved that. But it wasn't a great car or anything. But my dad's, I like my dad's BMW. Like it's just one of those really old BMWs. But I wouldn't get that again. I don't know. Like I don't know. I'm not sure what I'd get. But I do
what
like.
About you, Sammy? What are your top 3 cars?
Tesla, because I'm a lazy driver, and Melbourne City's like Spaghettiville now. I hate driving the city. I get all panicky with all those hook turns and that. So
crazy. I'll just explain to those who don't know. In Melbourne, they've got this crazy system. I don't know. It's because of the trams running around, but it's called a hook turn, where you go to the left-hand lane to make a right-hand turn, and it's just insane. It's madness. But anyway, sorry, Sammy.
No, you're right. And so I hate driving cities. I have to get a Tesla at least. Plus, my kids want a Tesla, so I have to get one of those. Probably a nice Mustang V8, just like for a Sunday driver, just to cruise around in, and probably maybe something more stylish like a Lambo or maybe a Ferrari. But you have to have an invitation to actually go to Ferrari. Did you guys know that? You have to be invited to the showroom. Crazy.
Well, if you flash your Hex stack out, I'm sure they'll invite you in.
I'm sure they will.
They'll be eager to have you there.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, they'd probably be my top 3 for sure.
Everyone's gone on about hook turns. Hook turns are awesome. If people don't know what a hook turn is, it's basically you come up to an intersection, and if you want to turn you turn right, but because in Australia it's on the left-hand side, so you have to wait for oncoming traffic to clear. But what you'd end up like in America, the equivalent would be turning left. So but what you end up doing is instead of turning right, you go to the left and just kind of park on the side, and then you wait for all the other cars to kind of go through, and then as that light changes and that becomes red and the other one becomes green, then you kind of have to kind of go through it. And
except if you're in America, then you wait for the green light to go red instead of the red light going green.
Mate, America is crazy. I used to live in New York and stuff, and like people in New York, like if you wanted to you needed to turn left, and so normally you'd have to wait for all the traffic to come through. But the people turning left there, as soon as it went, they just go as soon as they could, and until they couldn't go anymore because the other cars are coming. And they have a really smart thing. It's like turn right whenever you want, turn right whenever you want. Like,
well, we have that too. Turn left with care.
No, but at a traffic light, if it's a red light, and there's no cars coming, you can just turn.
Yeah, take out the pedestrians.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Driving, man.
What about yours, JFK? Did you say your top 3?
Well, I've sort of been a motorcyclist for a long time, but I'm starting to age a bit, and I've really got 2 motorcycles already that. Well, I always wanted an MV, and I got one, and that already cost me an MV Agusta motorcycle. It's basically like a Ferrari on 2 legs. It's got the same sort of head setup. It sounds like one. It's fantastically quick, stupidly fast, and already cost me my license for 6 months and $1,200 in one instance. But, I've still got it. It's a lovely thing. And I've got a 1700 V-twin Yamaha as well, just as a daily runabout. And I've got a true biker's car, a shitty 250,000 kilometre Camry with paint peeling and a bit of an oil leak for rainy days. So I spend too much on registration and insurance running 3 vehicles, unlike yourself, Bluey, who's a very sensible man and has none.
Finbear, what on earth? Where did that come out from? I don't think I'm following the chats, but I don't know what that's meant to mean. You're going to become a doctor, are you?
Yeah, well, he's going to offer free breast cancer exams, I think, is what he's offering. And you've got to be good at what you do.
Day 43 wants to get me in trouble.
Go on, answer him, Blue Bum.
There's really not much to say. Like Josh, I kind of followed him. People don't know he's the treasurer of Australia, and he's probably going to be the next prime minister, or going to be try to be the next prime minister. And I was in the same year with him, and there was kind of like about 200 kids in our year level. So, and I didn't know him very well. He was always just playing tennis. That's all I remember. Then I remember he went to work for a merchant bank. Surprise, surprise, and yeah. Then at some point, but he was going to be. It was very obvious from a very long time ago that he was being groomed to be a prime minister. Like he got the Kooyong seat, and so a lot of us all knew that he's being groomed for it, And to be honest, I don't really know him at all. I went to recently we had our 30 year reunion, or a couple of whatever it was, and he gave a little speech there, and it was interesting in that because I came from the theater world, but I was also used to do a lot of comedy, and so I've done loads of comedy festivals and stuff like that, and I've known and seen just a ton of stand-up comics, and to me it was just like he just did a little set. It was a little stand-up comedy set, and I was just like, and he's just a really he's your bog standard average stand-up comic, and the more I see of politicians, it's kind of that's what politics is turning into. They've got to do bits, they've got to get up and do their little bit of stand-up whenever they do a speech. I think I was watching Kamala Harris. She was on Twitter the other day, and I was just going, she's just a bad stand-up. It's just like a really bad stand-up. That's what they've turned into. I guess it's the attention economy. They've only got a short amount of time, and they want to get attention, and yeah, that's like it's turned into bad stand-up. And
there's a good old expression, Bluey, about politicians or politics. Politics is just celebrity for ugly people.
Yeah. The good-looking ones become actors. The ugly ones become politicians. Hey, of the elite. Yeah, I can see that totally.
There's not many good-looking politicians at all, except in fact,
bad-looking.
I don't even remember one nice-looking one of either sex.
Imran Khan.
Oh, but he was a cricketer first.
Yeah, but he's a good-looking politician.
Let me Google him.
You don't remember Imran Khan, Sammy Chigga? You never cricket?
Pakistani cricketer. Come from
I went out with this girl. Oh man, I went out with this girl who who had, I don't know how to say this. I probably shouldn't say it.
We'll get started now, Bluey. You've got to finish.
Oh yeah, he's not bad.
She partied with the Pakistani cricket team when they were on tour in the would have been late 80s or early 90s in Australia, and or maybe even later. I don't know, but like she told me some stories, man. They partied, those Pakistani cricketers. They partied big time when they got out of Pakistan and were on tour. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. I don't want to say anything more than that. Yeah.
Cool. So, what else is going on with HEX? I can see the price is just sort of going sideways. We're just having a look then.
You think we're going to flag out here for a while, Bluey?
Sorry,
do you think we're going to flag out with the price? And Sammy, like we're going to just chop around for a bit?
Oh, dude, it's going to pump. It's just going to keep. I mean, I don't know short term. Yeah. I mean, of course, there's always going to be chop, isn't there? But the trajectory is just. The next 6 months are going to be just crazy, man. The next 6 months, like, it's going to be face melting how much money we make. It really is. Like, it's just kind of pure fundamentals, you know. It's interesting is that everyone in crypto talks about the fundamentals, and looking at the fund, and they talk about the stock to flow, which is just a kind of like they're trying to do some sort of gold model onto cryptos, but like Hex is the only thing with real fundamentals. Hex is the only coin with real fundamentals because it's got because of the mechanics of it. Because
it's finished.
Near compound interest, and by doing that, you're pushing up the price, and that's going to just make it a more and more popular coin. So the network effect is just going to go and go and go. Like that's what fundamentals are. You know what I mean?
Well, there's always a fundamental that Hex is finished, unlike all the promised coins out there, which is just about everything else. It's la la land stuff.
Yeah.
And how much more fundamental do you get than that?
I wonder if Richard Hart will do a stream this week. I hope he does.
Oh, he will. He will for the launch. Like he'll have to.
Yeah, he'll have to. Either a voice chat or yes.
You're hoping to get on again, Sammy?
No. But I really like listening to Richard and hearing what he's got to say. So it'd be good.
Next time, instead of drinking, you should just take a few lines of Coke. See how the interview goes.
Did you see the thing that he posted up with like the boxing jacket and the inflatable coat?
Yeah, he's inflatable.
Pretty funny. Yeah.
Well, actually, out there.
I said in one of the chats he should have done it in the bathroom and then jumped in the bathtub at the end.
You see the price of it? Oh my god!
Yeah, it was like $3,500 or something.
It was $3,000 or something.
Yeah.
The thing that made me laugh was in the description it said it's made from all natural PVCs. I was like, well, PVC isn't natural. Like, do you get a PVC tree and cut it down and make the Louis Vuitton inflatable jacket from it? Or,
who knows?
Or is it organic PVCs?
It'll be interesting to see what he does this week because we're looking at launch for this sacrifice set on Friday or Saturday. Because it depends if you're in the US or Australia, but yeah, it would be Friday. So when he says stake set, so basically the question that I asked him was, how like he talked about X, and I'd said to Richard, is X a coin? And he basically said no, it wasn't. What he said it will be a set. Let me just go back to the message and see what he says. Sorry, won't be a minute.
I think I understand what he's saying in that because it's not a coin that we know, like it'll get this much or whatever. What they're going to do is everyone's going to donate, and people donate different amounts at different times. And according to how much, because they're going to order as well, so that the people who do the most kind of get the most in a way, right? So it's going to be, but he doesn't know like whether it will, like how that curve will be. So everyone's going to give all this money that will have this US dollar value, and then depending on how much each account has given and when they gave, that's going to be how the distribution of the pulse is given out.
Really? So just say, because Richard was saying the sacrifice set is probably going to remain just a set and not a coin, because for instance,
drop it to if you donate from a certain address, or you like, they can just drop it to that address.
Yeah, so you're dropping it to an address, right? So just say I drop some ETH, some Chainlink, and some ADA, right? So I dropped that into the address. So it's sitting there for the 30 days. And then after the 30 days, it's automatically just like sit there until Pulse launches, and then just change the Pulse and then in your wallet.
Yeah, that's the other thing. That's the other thing.
It's USD value. And it's going to be USD value for within half an hour of when you put it in. So if that's the argument that people are saying, that if Hex pumps more than 3x, you'll actually get more pulse if you put it in at the end for the same number of Hex. But I mean, it has to pump, the Hex price has to pump 3x to cover the bonded curve when you're putting the Hex in at the beginning.
Crazy.
But Sammy, I think the point you're making is that you won't get that for quite a while. Like, you'll only be able to use it anyway. You'll probably get it after the fork, or when the fork happens.
Yeah.
And because of course, Pulse will only be in existence after the fork, and so you're locking up that money for 2 or 3 months.
Yeah. Before
you'll be able to get it in Pulse.
Yeah.
That's why I think this holding liquid Hex is going to be the best play.
But that's what I'm saying. You don't have to do anything. It's like, all right, I've sacrificed. I can sit back and relax until Pulse launches, and I'll see my Pulse in my wallet.
The mechanics of it, he'll have to tell us. Well, he won't have to tell us. You'd imagine
you're probably going to have to mint it yourself. You're probably going to have to do that. You'll change. You might have to change X or whatever it is.
There might be something that you have to. You'll have some sort of something that you have to mint. You're like,
that way you're doing the work.
Yeah.
Therefore, it's not a security.
Okay.
That stuff's not decided, basically. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Cool. How long have we been going? 1:23. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about, or anything in the chat anybody wants to talk about?
Tassara says that there's a Lambo in New South Wales for sale, second hand, $1,088,000, $1.088 million.
Mate, like I saw a Porsche, an old Porsche, for 10 grand up here in Cairns. And I was like, wow, get myself a Porsche. 10 grand's nothing, hey?
No, it's nothing.
It must be a shit box, though, if it's for 10 grand, if it's a Porsche.
I know. But it's the parts.
It was a really old one. It was like a 1982 one or something like that.
It's the parts that you'd have to pay for. So your 10 grand vehicle turns into a very expensive vehicle when you have to service it and get expensive parts.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the other thing. There's heaps of Mercedes-Benz up here, actually, I've been noticing. Like, stacks of Mercs. And I don't know, like, that could be a good car, German engineering and all that. Get an old Merc or something.
Well, a lot of businesses use Mercs. Have you seen all the vans? Businesses use the Merc vans.
Yeah.
Because they're reliable, but they're also expensive parts too.
Expensive parts, yeah.
Mm.
But, like, if we're going to be rich... I think this is it.
I know.
Day 43, he really wants the anonymity. Mate, it's not going to happen. You're going to have to go through Tornado Pulse. But you know what? Tornado, the Tornado tokens, what's it called? The Torn? Are they just a sticky taped token, or? But there'll be a version of that, because that's all coming over. Maybe Torn something worth looking at, the Pulse side of Torn, because they're worth quite a lot, and you'd imagine a lot of Pulsarians will be using, something like that probably. And if it's really cheap, like at the moment, it's like the reason people don't use Hex NATO is because it's so expensive, and and the same with the Ethereum one, Tornado Cash, like it's expensive. But if it's cheap to use contracts, maybe Torn's actually a good PRC20 to look at getting. Could be something, hey? It's just a governance token, he reckons, hey? Yeah, those governance tokens, it's like, what do you... It's the same with, like, Richard Hart's now talking about a DAO. And that, to me, is just like, really? What do we want a DAO for? But he reckons people want them. Like, I don't see how... Like, he wants to do the liquidity... I can see the liquidity farming. I can see why it's so popular, Like, you can literally see your money being earned when you're staking, or and then you can compound it by just kicking it back into the staking thing, and it just keeps on going. You know what I mean? Like, I can see why those liquidity farms are popular.
I can see why Staker app's popular too.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, it's a given that Hex is going to be better than everything, right? But if you do want to be a bit of a degen on the Pulse chain, like, or you want to attract users, like, the yield farming is super popular. And I think the reason it is popular, because, like, for instance, like I had this other Avalanche because I was a validator, and I'm staking those coins because, like, I couldn't touch them anyway, but I could stake them, like, so because they were vested, so I might as well stake them. So I've been staking them, and as part of that, I was given these other, like, things the other day. I got an airdrop called baguettes, and it's just like some, like, it's
another food token.
It's another exchange thing. It looked exactly like QuickSwap, and I was like, I can stake these, or I can liquidity mine with these. And so I was like, you know what, they were worth not too much money, and so I just thought, okay, I'll chuck them in this staking thing and see how it's going, and you can literally just see the money spin, like how much money you're earning. Like,
amazing.
That's very addictive to be seeing how much you're in to be actually seeing the money, even if it is just a really small amount. You know what I mean? Like this token's it's not worth that much. I'm only earning like maybe $4 or $5 by staking. I'm only earning $4 or $5 a week. You know what I mean? With the price of the token and all that kind of stuff. But just going there and seeing it always just like every few seconds go up in value, even if it's just minute amounts of money, I can see why it's popular,
Yeah.
I've got one for you guys. With the dropping of Bitcoin dominance, and do you think that that's ever going to return? Or do you think that the market's figured out that Bitcoin's the technological equivalent in a video game of Pong?
It's hard to call that one, isn't it? Like, because you see so many institutional, and like it is still the like the most known, but nowadays people are getting Ethereum. I don't know, because Ethereum's, I can see it being flipped by Ethereum in terms of market cap, and therefore and alts becoming and taking it over. I mean, I still think it will always be there because they're such diehard people, the Bitcoin maxis, and because so many institutions have are jumping on board, it's
but the user experience just sucks ass. I mean, like you've got 20 minute minimum sort of in limbo.
Yeah, it's not a trading coin, it's a holding coin. That's the narrative, and that's what people are doing with it, and like there's still the max.
But people don't understand that until they get into it, Chloe. And when they do experience it, and then they experience something on Ethereum, albeit Ethereum's just as expensive.
Oh, look,
or if not more so at the moment.
That's why I say it's probably just a matter of time. Like in terms of younger users, aren't going into Bitcoin. They're going into Doge, or if actually, I've got no idea if they're doing that. I don't know how much of that's BS, that price. Like how many users do they actually have? No, most of the people are going to the platforms where they can trade cheaply and fast. Right?
You know what I think about Bitcoin? I think there's always going to be a market for it, because from its birth, it's always shown just crazy, crazy money. Like there's crazy money to be made. But, even in the real world, people collect coins and they increase in value, right? So even digital coins increase in value. And what we've seen since Bitcoin's been born, the crazy increase in price. So as Bitcoin becomes outdated compared to the new coins, which are more, they're smarter, there's more smart money and they're faster and they're cheaper, people will wake up the fact that they're better to use and they can make more money because they're getting more X for their dollars. But I think only rich people in the future will have Bitcoin. I think it'll be something that only rich people can afford, because, who can afford to just go out and buy one Bitcoin? Like the average Joe couldn't really afford to do that, And then the average Joe probably thinks, who doesn't know much about Bitcoin, that they have to buy a whole Bitcoin to get in, which we all know that's not true. But, I think it's going to be like the collector's item, like the collector's cryptocurrency, and it'll be worth a lot of money.
In much the same way that Pong as a video game is a collector's item now.
True. It's true, though. Game Boys and Pong and...
Antique money.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think money's gonna. I think value is pretty ruthless, and like people will go where the value is. But Bitcoin's still highly valued, and it won't climb as fast because it's just too heavy, and it just needs so much economic energy to move it. But you know what? The future is multi-chain. We just don't have the technology to onboard the whole world, and as more and more people come into crypto and they want that good user experience, there's just going to have to be more and more chains. And so I think all of these things will have its place. I think Bitcoin will still be around. I think Bitcoin Cash looks like it's going really well, and it sounds like they could actually make a play at being some sort of payment network, like they have. Sounds like it's a great. I haven't used it, but it sounds like it's a great user experience. Same with Dash, like I think there'll be lots of chains, and especially as we get interoperability, like we get these bridges where people can do cross-chain swaps. Like people are going to go. There's going to be all sorts of things with value. Hex is going to overtake it at some point, though. Like once people really suss it out, there's just no reason you wouldn't have Hex. Like once people actually realize how amazing it is for holding value and for not even holding value, for going up in price, it's just going to become more and more popular. Like Hex in 10 years is just going to be insane.
Well, yeah, more and more people getting into crypto and waking up to how much money there is to be made. And, I can't believe some of the bigger players, like these millionaires, billionaires, they could make a lot of money in Hex, if they played their cards right.
Oh. But it's kind of nice that like it is harder for them to get in and out because of the liquidity thing. Like if they chuck $1 million in, like it's harder. They're going to have to do it in small parts. You know what I mean? And so it is kind of nice that it's just for the small people at the moment, because yeah, like as Kenyan.
I think Richard sort of said it best. Richard's predictions about last year were that Hex would outperform ETH, would outperform Bitcoin. And he sort of said of this bull run, it's going to take time for people. People will first get into Bitcoin, then they'll discover ETH. And I think we're in that. We're as I said, because of Bitcoin's falling dominance, we are in that process now. And once they've done that, then they'll find Hex.
I wonder where he'll put Pulse in that little, like I think it's pretty easy not easy, but I think it's kind of it's clear to say that Hex is going to outperform ETH and ETH is going to outperform Bitcoin. But where Pulse fits into that, I've no idea. And where Hex Pulse fits into that compared to ETH Pulse, like, things are getting complicated, hey?
But fun and exciting. I'm
Yeah.
so excited.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's one thing. Hex is never bloody boring, is it? It never is. You've got Big Payday. I mean, even before Big Payday, we had all that, you know, the games that were built, and we went through all that Hexy stuff. And I mean, it's there's always something going on. You know, it's not a stagnant, even though it's finished and it's a finished product. The paradox is that it's probably more active and more things going on and more happening than all the promise coins who aren't delivering anywhere near that level of excitement.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And look at the community. I mean, look at Matty Allen. How good is Matty Allen? He's so cool. I watch his show while I'm at work. And, you know, he talks all about mental health and some really cool stuff. He's really down to earth and entertaining. And, you know, David Feder has got his dream account. He was gifted $1 million Hex by Ski Cat for his Hex tattoo, and he shows his progress with it. And that's really, he's really smart. So it's really cool to watch him. And then you got Hexo. I watch Hexologists every day, and he's just awesome. He's just funny as. And of course, Discourse with RG3. You know, he's just a barrel of laughs and really down to earth. And you know, it's just so much fun. Like, it's just, there's no end to personality and input in the space and education. You know, and that's what we need. Like when we all jumped into Hex, we were all like, oh, we'll just stake out. You know. Didn't know much about T-shares, and now I think we pretty much know it all. Like we listen to Wales Only and Karim, and
it's amazing. Like one week ago, one guy at work, I talked to him about Hex. I talked to two guys. The one who approached me, and he brought another guy along. And the guy who approached me is like, oh, it all looks a bit risky. I'll just stick with, and this, I'm not joking, I'll just stick with XRP and all the other things that I've bought. And I'm like, okay then. And the other guy, after picking my brains at work over the period of a week, he is now at a true hexagon level. He actually has gone through all the processes that took us 6 to 8 months and benefited from the knowledge that I've gained over that period of time and going through those experiences. And he's got it. He understands that T-shares is where the game is. He understands that if you can honour it, that, you know, Quattro Cinco stake is the way to go. He's just down. He's totally down. And that's happened in a week. And that's that sort of temporal shift for onboarding people compared to us OGs and the time it took us is just mind-blowing how quick that is. I mean, that's another example of how fast the process has moved on, that we've not only gone through that long period of self-educating about Hex, but we've practiced onboarding and we've talked about it in streams. And we know how to communicate that really effectively, that someone can come in a week and be where what took us over a year to comprehend. And that to me is bullish as fuck. Like that just says that, you know, you're not going to have to take 8-9 months, you know, to become a fully fledged hexagon. That in fact, this guy's proved to me that, who just came along with the other nutbag who wants to stay with XRP, and he's taken to it, understands it. He sat there with his computer and he figured out how much at the current rate of interest, how much $1,000 would be in 15 years. And he's like, is that right? It's like, you know, over $500,000. And I'm like, yeah, but you're making I did point out to him, I said, you're making the assumption that the APY is going to stay that way, and it may not. And he went, oh yeah, but I don't want anyone else to get on board. I want the API to stay, to stay really high. And I said to him, well, the thing is, the more people that get on board, the price goes, you know.
And that's it.
So
Yeah.
you're winning either way. And he's like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah. In his mind, he's like, so he's asking really, really informed questions. And
Yeah.
we've been through all this, I'm able to give him instantaneous answers.
Yeah.
And he's just plugged into it so fast. And it's mind-blowing because it's taken us so long.
And that
within a week, you can get a fully minted hexagon from a no coiner.
And that's what real fundamentals are. That what you just said there that's really what fundamentals are. Everyone goes on about fundamentals of of coins, and you got to look at the fundamentals and stuff like that. That's what the fundamentals are. Either you get great interest, or you get mad price increase, or you get both.
Mm-hmm. Or you get both.
That's why it's
chains.
Pardon?
You get both on 2 chains.
Yeah. Even that, yeah.
It's just, anyway.
Imagine how much information we're going to have once all the hexagons get into Pulse and, all crypto coffee and Seal the Antidote, and everyone will be dropping all this knowledge. So we're going to be so educated when we get it. We're going to know exactly how to.
Well, that's why I got offered this job. The only reason I got offered this job is because because I've just been in Hex and I've been learning all about it and trying to understand it, and and you guys, we don't realize how much we know.
Yeah,
we take it for granted because we've just been doing it for nearly a year or whatever, however long we've been into it.
Well, then that's my point. I totally agree with you, Bluey. We don't realize how much we know, but on the other hand, to counter that point, like I said, I had a no coiner, and he's fully fledged hexagon because he was smart enough to ask the right questions. He had access to someone who could provide most of the answers, and if not, point him in the right direction. And I actually he was pretty technically orientated, so it was pretty easy for me to just go and shout out to you, Wales. Go to Quant Gang, look for Quant Gang, and he said he sat down with a couple of beers and watched that stream, and he loved it. I mean, you can tell what in the hexagon communities, and what streamer can match what sort of personality to a degree, or make several suggestions and let them make their own mind up. And it's a wonderful course.
What about this from Flames? This is a good one. How much ETH should you keep in your account?
As much as possible.
No. No. I mean, if you want to buy Hollow Hex with it, but you want to make sure you keep ETH for transaction fees.
I just say one thing: ETHHex.com.
No. You know what I reckon? I reckon you should try to leave about 0.1 of an ETH in your account, because if you want to be making more stakes, if you want to be ending stakes, you want to be moving stuff around, and there's so many times I've maxed out how much Hex I've bought and then not had enough ETH left in there,
Yeah, but that's part of the crypto experience, isn't it, Bluey?
But that's what I'm
just unavoidable.
Supported someone, and he's just going how much ETH should he leave in? He should leave into their account, So 0.1 of an ETH, I reckon. I know I haven't got that in a lot of my accounts because I keep buying or whatever. I saw that there was that massive red candle the other day, and I was just first I told the chat, and I was like, shit, why'd I tell the chat? I ran to my other computer, and I was just trying to buy it, and I ended up buying, and just all that ETH that I'd saved for transaction fees just went
Was that the 2.8? The 2.8 drop?
Yeah, when it went down, down heaps.
I got one there too. That was great.
I ended up getting a little bit at 2.4, I think, like that. Because after I was trying and then it wouldn't go through, and then finally I did it. And by the time I did it, I got it at 2.4, and so it wasn't even that much. It was it wasn't even that much because I wasn't spending that much. But
yeah,
it was
in the 1.5 before the pump too.
Pardon?
I got in at 1.5 cents too, just before the pump.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah,
That was lovely.
I got in at 0.0022, like right after the big payday dump, and when it went right down, and some people managed to catch it. I think like at like 0.0019 or something like that. But I got some at 0.0022.
Nice.
No, you're not going to sweat too much over that difference.
Yeah, I wasn't a lot. I didn't buy a lot. It wasn't a lot or anything. But like now that's like what's that done? 0.0022 to 0.0. What is it now? 3 something. That's like 10. Is that a 20x? No, less. It's like a 15x or something.
15x, yeah.
Yeah. Not bad.
That'll do.
It's good.
Plus interest. Don't forget the interest if you staked it.
Yeah.
And big payday bonus.
Oh.
No, I bought it after big payday.
Oh,
that was after the big payday dump.
Oh, okay.
So we're at 3.16 at the moment. Let's do a quick check around the grounds. We've got Bitcoin still can't break 60. Well, not it has before, but at 59,184. Ethereum 3,585. Just how high did Ethereum go? Is that an all-time high? Did it get up to 3.6? Don't know.
Quick look.
Yeah. Thought it's going along, isn't it, really?
Yeah. It is.
3,605 Flames reckons is an all-time high. Just under the all-time high. Do you reckon? What do you reckon? Do you reckon ETH is going to go to? When do you reckon ETH is going to go to 5?
How long's a piece of string? Oh, yeah, Hex is number 13 on Nomics too, as well. Still,
yeah. It'd be nice when we kick into. We still need like a 40% pump or something to get into the top 10. I think.
We're sitting at 18.3 billion market cap, and Litecoin at number 10 is 23.
So 5. So yeah, like 40%, 30, 35.
Oh no, about 30-ish.
35% or something. Yeah, right. 30%. 30% just under, I think. 35% or something. Yeah. Oh. Rightio, guys. What do you reckon? We call it quits?
Yeah.
Sure.
Mother's Day tomorrow. You guys going to see your mum?
Mum's Day. No, my mum's down in Melbourne. I'll give her a call. I'm onboarding like about. They've lined up like 8 people for me to onboard tomorrow.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, staker wrap references, Bluey. That's what you need. Staker wrap references.
No, it's this job where I've got to literally onboard people and like take them through like buying Hex and stuff.
What about
when they set up staker app? Just click on this reference link.
Hey JFK.
Yeah.
Yes,
you gotta go see your mum tomorrow.
Yeah, I am. They live down the Goldie, so it's only about hour and 10 minutes. But it might be a bit longer with the traffic tomorrow. And all the best for you tomorrow too, Sammy. Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, happy Mum's Day, Sammy.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, it's been a nice day with the family.
Is it Mum's Day in America or is that a different time?
I think they got a different one.
I got a different one, yeah. Yeah, cool, guys. Well, thanks for coming on. Thanks for jumping on. Thanks for being here. Thanks for all the chat, Benny and Flames and...
Thanks, chat. Good to see you guys.
Bye, chat.
Nash Hex and Cian Zuff. G'day, mate. Wanted to say hi to you from before. Thanks for coming on. And OG43 doing it like he always does. And Sarah and whoever else is watching. Thanks heaps, guys. I'm not sure if I have a video. I haven't been able to upload videos Should we just see what this video is? I don't even know what it'll be.
Oh, I don't get a strike.
Corn collection, Blue Bum.
It's got a rocket. I think it's just a nice hex one. So if it's not, then I'll just try something else. But yeah, thanks everybody for being with us. Good luck, and we'll be back here next week. Not sure whether it'll be Saturday night or Sunday during the day. We'll just have to kind of play it by ear. It probably will be Saturday night, actually, because I've got a feeling I'm still going to be onboarding people on Sunday. So, yeah, thanks, JFK. Nice smoke screen. Thanks, Sammy Chica.
Thanks, Bluey.
See you all.
Bye, guys.
Bye.